Hey, I have to share a new trick that I learned in my training with Dr. Joan Ifland. This is so cool, and it has been helping people in my own coaching groups to overcome addiction to processed foods, to sugar, to carbs, and for some people, even dairy, alcohol, caffeine, whatever addiction that you want to end, this trick will help. Are you ready? Here we go. So you know how when you're about to go on a trip, how you get so excited just thinking about it. Maybe not mamas if you have toddlers, but think back like to your honeymoon or to a trip that you've really been looking forward to. Research shows that people get a dopamine hit just planning for the trip, almost equivalent to when they're actually on the trip. So dopamine is a neurotransmitter that is made in our brains. Basically, it acts as a chemical messenger between our neurons. Dopamine is released when your brain is expecting a reward, and it makes us feel good and happy and excited. Dopamine is often released along with adrenaline and serotonin, but dopamine is the one that is most likely to be released in anticipation of something. So like right before you get on a roller coaster, while you're just standing on the ground in this long, boring line, it should be the most boring thing ever. But no, our brains are going crazy, right? We're just standing there for an hour, but you're nervous, your heart is racing, you're feeling all the feels, maybe your palms are sweating. This is our anticipatory dopamine flooding our brains, even though we're just standing there. Right before you take a bite of your favorite dessert, you see it in front of you, you smell it, you imagine what it was like the other times, your brain releases anticipatory dopamine. Our brains light up like a Christmas tree. Some people say it feels like their brain is on fire, just crazy with cravings. When dopamine is coursing through our brains, it is just waiting to be rewarded. And it's sort of like hitting the bell in the Pavlov's dog experiment. The bell rings, the dog doesn't react. It's just a bell. Dogs don't care about bells. But when the bell rings, ding, and then a reward is given. And the bell rings again, ding, and a reward is given. It doesn't take many times before the dog is going to be clearly very excited about a silly bell. The association has been made, so even without seeing the treat, the dog will lick its chops and get excited at the sound of just ding. This is psychology 101. This happens in our brains. We get this anticipatory dopamine hit from seeing or smelling a treat, a trigger, a commercial, and then in the past, we always get the treat. We get the anticipatory dopamine hit again, and we get the treat. And now we're trained. As soon as we feel that craving hit, which is the dopamine flooding our brains, we feel like we must get the thing, whether that's the sugar, pie, chips, nuts, whatever it is, because our brain is demanding it. And because we have trained ourselves to respond to the ding. But what if we used that anticipatory dopamine to our own advantage? People in rehab facilities have known this for years. They can get a person off of drugs or alcohol much easier if they just transfer the addiction to something else. So when a person is craving alcohol, they can be given sugary processed foods while that anticipatory dopamine is flooding their brains for the alcohol. And soon you will have a recovered alcoholic with a severe sugar addiction. Yay. When sugar addicted people have gastric bypass surgery and suddenly they have very tiny little pouches for their food, they cannot reward their bodies with food in the same way they used to. So doctors will often advise them, be very careful, or you will end up with a whole different addiction, whether it's shopping, porn, gambling, alcohol. It's called addiction transference, and it's real. So why not use this to our own advantage? If you are having an anticipatory dopamine hit, ding, maybe you got triggered from walking past the bakery, or maybe your husband is eating ice cream, or you drive past your favorite treat place, your brain anticipates the sugar hit that you have given it in the past. So your brain will release a flood of these chemicals. My advice, please use those wisely. If you go online and start shopping, you are more likely to transfer your sugar addiction over to a shopping addiction. Maybe you're okay with that. Maybe you could think of some things you would rather be addicted to though. So sit down and decide, what do you wish you were addicted to? Do you wish you craved exercise? Do you wish you craved steak? Do you wish you craved prayer and meditation? Do you wish you craved sex with your spouse and had better libido? Perfect. Make a list. And when you do feel this hit of anticipatory dopamine, ding, 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 coursing through your brains, use it. For the first few times, you will have to make yourself do something other than what you have trained yourself to do in the past. You will have to force yourself to eat the steak or take a walk or head to the bedroom. And during the first few times, it will take some extreme, like white knuckling to not do what you have done in the past. And I would encourage you in those moments, remind yourself that you have been trained like a dog with a bell and that you can be retrained. You can take slow, deep breaths while repeating a mantra if it helps. Breathe in slowly to calm your nervous system. Remind yourself you are okay. You are safe. You are strong enough to be retrained. If your body is craving sweets, just make yourself fill up on something that your truest, highest self knows is good for you. For me, that is steak, bacon, eggs, real nutrition without sugar and chemicals and junk that I know is bad for me. So fill up on real food while you are craving the junk, and you will start to crave real food. If you're craving chips, make yourself eat a steak and take a walk. Or make yourself do some push-ups, go get in the sun, whatever you know is actually good for you. And it may be a good idea if you take that walk to use that time. Remind yourself, why am I doing this? What is the vision? What's the long game here? What does the real you truly want in life, even more than you want stupid chips? Do you want to live a long and pain-free life? Do you want to feel more comfortable in your clothes? Do you want less inflammation? Do you want to be free from sugar addiction? Those are our truest desires. That is true long-term pleasure. And junky foods are just a momentary band-aid for our real problems. They are not what we really need or what we truly want. They are just a quick answer to this dopamine hit that we're in the habit of just consuming on demand. And it's completely changeable. So while we are utilizing this anticipatory dopamine and we're making ourselves choose something better, your brain is literally getting a new reward. So it would be like taking Pavlov's dog that salivates when it hears the bell, but instead of ring the bell, give a treat. You now ring the bell and take him for a walk. Ring the bell, take him for a walk. Ring the bell, take him for a walk. It's going to start getting excited about walks. Or ring the bell, scratch behind his ears. Ring the bell, throw a ball. Soon it's going to no longer think about treats at all when it hears the bell. Also, if you want to be real hardcore, ring the bell and give the dog nothing. Do that for a few days, just ding, 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 give it nothing. Soon the dog won't react at all. You can also do that with yourself. When you get these cravings, completely ignore them. They will go away if they're not rewarded. But it's easier if you reward the ringing bell with something else that's pleasant, but also good for you. So yes, dogs are smart, but you are so much smarter. If you keep giving your body the sugary junk every time you get this dopamine hit, which is ringing that bell, and you keep giving yourself junk food, you're going to keep yourself trained to want it. And you will feel like every time you get this ding, you will feel like you need it desperately, even though we know it's just empty calories that our bodies do not need it whatsoever. We have just trained ourselves to think that we need it. So let's retrain ourselves. Let's use that anticipatory dopamine to make a wise choice for ourselves. We can calm our brain down as we do it. We can use our highest, best self, our adult self, our prefrontal cortex, baby, to talk through the long-term results that we truly want. And then to remind our lowest, most addicted selves, this is what Dr. Ifland would call the lizard brain, that what it wants is simply not wise. It's just a bad habit. There's nothing beneficial about those habits anymore. So we're going to make new habits. And if we do the new healthy habits and eat the new healthy foods, wow, that anticipatory dopamine is ding, ding, ding in our system. We are much more likely to start craving the good habits. And soon it's going to be easy to just eat a steak when you're hungry or to take a walk and make great choices for yourself. You will actually start to crave those things. So instead of us fearing cravings, let's reframe that. Be excited. When that bell rings, it is a new chance to train your brain to do something awesome. Utilize every drop of that anticipatory dopamine to get your body excited for meat and water and movement and maybe some loving. Tell your husband or wife that I said, you're welcome. Please let me know if you try this trick and how it works. It is working out beautifully in my own life and also for people in my coaching groups who have been working on this for quite a while now. If you found this video to be helpful, please hit like, subscribe, even consider sharing it with somebody who needs it. Thank you so much, and go use that dopamine. Change your life. You've got this.